Hey everyone, this is Jake, and today we are going to be talking about 37th developer notes, and it's mainly about the balance changes for rearmament units, and there are a couple new things coming in the future as well. So let's jump into the video and talk about this developer notes because there's a lot of things to talk about. So first of all, I'm just going to read up the translation post from padawan.com, but they also kind of mentioned how this is very long post and there is a lot of conversation into it. So before I jump into video, I just want to explain how overall the vibe of this post is. So first of all, I think rearmament units, me personally, is something I can dabble with now because it's something that I can afford and I can enjoy using it, and quality has been improving, so I am really satisfied with overall outcome of the things. But once in a while, I think they are definitely a stone that kind of sticks out of the flat ground and makes people trip on it and fall down and cry and get angry and such. And those units are, for example, recently is definitely the King. Her rearmaments is pretty good, and to say it really breaks some of the parts of the game as well. And I think kind of goes against what they said about giving MDL to the ships. Now it's kind of useless because she is pretty much perfect for the Terror comp to make it so there's no real point of adding MDL anymore because she's so good to be used in that comp. So that's why they're rolling back on a lot of things, not to mention she destroys some parts within PvE content, so it made it a lot easier, and they probably don't want that because those are what you consider endgame content. So there is a lot of reasons why they kind of trying to explain themselves that how they made a mistake and such. And they also, one thing they mentioned is they had a previous work kind of positions as well as how they work out whenever they release new units or update, and they are kind of reorganizing their structures and giving some of the new ones that should work better for future contents as well as future units. So hopefully those changes will be applied and it'll be better, but because of that there's going to be a delay on the patch, of course, and I think May is going to be pretty dry when it comes in terms of contents. Probably going to rerun some events and such because they're leaving a lot of things until last week up to May. So I'm assuming like 3 weeks of pretty much nothing, but we'll see. But let's jump into the details parts of this developer notes and talk about it. So balance process improvements, so they summarize it really well within this blog site, so it's pretty good if you want to read about it. But main thing is definitely there has been a lot of requests to kind of adjust the rearmament units within PvP, which I am part of that group as well. I am okay with things the way it is right now, if you ask me, like honestly how I feel about it, because I have every single unit available. I can afford it. I have all this different gear that I can utilize those characters to pretty much a maximum potentials. So I can use all these different units, and I'm pretty much not really affected by certain units getting banned any weeks because I have everything. That said, I think certain characters are making game really unfun, and I'm really against like a tower comp as well as, let's say, Kang. But sometimes if I want to win, I really have to use those units to win and don't have a fun. One of the units I don't really have fun with is a King, so that's the reason why I don't really use a King anymore. I use it for the first few weeks when he was buffed, then I just drop it up, I move on to other decks, and sometimes I just ignore even though I lose by him and such. But anyways, so they are deciding to nerf some rearmament units, and mainly ones that came out in Korean server only. So the first one is Orca. That's the one they are going to be nerfing, and the Orca is gonna get some serious nerf within PvP. She is still going to be pretty good as used as a leader within PvP. I think it's not going to change that much, but her healing aspect has been reduced within PvP. Within Gauntlet, she was healing 2% instead of 1%. Within PvE contests, I think it was just healing 1%. So for some reason within Gauntlet, she was healing better. They made her really tanky, able to tank so much hits, like so many different units able to be just tanked by Orca, and Orca is just 3 costs. So that was pretty insane. But now she is getting less healing, so her healing will be much more like PvE, so that's a lot less. And her cost will be going up from 3 costs to 4 costs. Now, when she is set as a leader, they apply a new bonus to leader skill that if she is a leader and deployed onto the field, that she will gain 1 cost back, like how the Titan works. It is a pretty huge nerf, I think, but that doesn't make her bad. I think she should be still pretty good units to be used depending on the week and rotation. And Awakened Soyon is not around, I think she should be at pretty good position to be used within certain comps and such. But of course, that is a huge nerf, and I think that makes more sense. Some people say that she should have only got the cost nerf, or she should have only gotten like the healing nerf. I think we'll see how things will play out. The both is definitely going to make her a lot less more viable. Not to mention, I don't think that many people's going to use her without setting as a leader. And I'm a believer in that fact that I'm okay with the rearm units being really good and OP, to be honest with you. But I think they should be forced to be used as a leader to get the full potentials. And if you're not used as a leader, you should not get that much power, and I think Orca is going to that direction. Not to mention Esterosa is also a pretty good one that you have to set her as a leader, get the full potential, because the leader skill with giving her invincibility after her health reaching 0 is pretty much the key essential part of her kits. So stuff like that, I think that makes more sense, but there are characters out there like Tower Shouting, which is pretty much no need to be set as a leader and still crazy OP. And there's also Caster Shaolin that she doesn't need to be set as a leader, but she is already good as a 4-cost unit. So I can see them kind of backpedaling and nerfing those units down the road as well. Ken got a huge nerf as well. So first of all, she changed into Fury type, so that is a huge nerf for anyone who's using her as what she's meant to be right now, to be a meta unit. Her passive skill made her able to do a fixed damage with her deployment skill, like the explosion she does with the car and such. Now that will be removed and replaced with detecting the stealth units. So now she's able to detect units like Bishop, or when you're fighting against the Albion, you're able to detect those units. And another big nerf is that her special skills getting huge damage nerf. She is losing 60% of her damage, so that's going to be very big. I think this will make her going to be very gear dependent when you want to snipe out snipers. She still does really good damage against the sniper units, so I think you can still use her to counter like Caster Shaolin or Queen or some other sniper units out in the future. But anyways, I think she should be pretty still decent units. Not sure how much you want to invest into. I think original Ken was still pretty good. This one will make her even better for sure, but is the resource managing, of course. For someone like me, I will always do it, but if you're really tight on resources, I feel like it's kind of unit that you kind of want to wait out now. Maestro is also getting buffed, so that's units that's getting buffed because she came out very recently, but we'll see how things will turn out after this initial buff. Now, we still have to wait and see what other Elysium Philharmonic characters will come out in the future to take a benefit of her passive skill, so it's too early to call on, but I think she's definitely much better now. And 2 new effect was added to ultimate skill as well, and 12 seconds after casting the skill, she will be prevent enemies from casting ultimates, so she's able to add this global skill shield to enemies and block them from receiving buff. So that sounds very good. And new operator coming out is the Moana, and so it's Moana's mom that you saw from the summer story, and she is coming out as an operator. And with her skill that she is able to raise the buff on enemies unless it's like a permanent buff, so much like Serena Crew, but I think she sounds pretty decent. Her trigger isn't that bad, so I'm quite excited to see. She is able to give your allies up to 24% defense and whatever the HP healing rates will be, but she's also able to give it HP healing. So for the low cost decks, I think this operator will be really good. We see how things will play out, but I think this could be a really good operator for soldier comp. I think it could be, but we'll see. And finally, that is the end of the developer note, and they're finishing out with the Einstein's buy, which will be getting new summer skin. And this one I have to kind of go back to developer notes, because developer notes kind of mentioned how much work they initially had to put in to create original Eins and Spy, because it's not just 2 characters, you have all these other character, which is her sister that summons in when she uses the ultimate skill. So they have to remodel all those other sisters as well. And as you can see in this image, that you see all these different outfits. They all have different outfits, they have different names within their swimsuit, and they all look kind of different in a way. So simple ways to explain, instead of making one character, they kind of worked on 10 different characters for all one skin. So there's a lot of work they put in, and quite excited to see when they will release it. I think it's coming soon, so we'll see. But anyways, that is pretty much for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Jake. Please let me know what your thought on the developer notes. I honestly think it's not the perfect one, of course. It's not the balanced kind of thing that I think is the best. I think there's definitely more balanced things, more ways to approach to this balance patch, I think, like different nerfs and stuff. But I think the fact that they are listening and taking feedback and owning up to their mistake is quite an improvement, and as an OG player, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this developer notes. Now, I think it's important to not make a mistake in the first place, then make a mistake in giving compensation rewards and such. So yeah, just hoping them to not really have to dig themselves to give out more free rewards to players, because I don't really need those. I'd rather see the game more stable positions, and instead of giving me all these free things that I don't really need. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this video, of me talking. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.